stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any public comment? Public comment going once, public comment going twice, public comment going 3 times. So,
If I may, Madam Chairperson, First Select Woman, we should note for the record that Teresa's on the phone.
yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Note for the record that Selectwoman Teresa Conroy is on the phone. Presentation by Wyatt Smars of the Best Buddies program. Wyatt, come on up, state your name and address, and speak into that microphone right there at the podium. Yes, sir.
Wyatt Smars, 9 Roscoe Street.
Go ahead.
Good evening, and thank you for Selectwoman, Brogans, and the rest of the Town Council for having me present this evening. My name is Wyatt Smars, a junior at Seymour High School. I have autism and I am labeled intellectually disabled. However, those labels don't define me. My actions do. I am the student director for the Best Buddies Club at the high school, and I am also a member of the Student Advisory Board for Best Buddies Connecticut. I would like to request support from the Town Council in helping me with what is not only going to be my capstone project, but also a movement that I feel is very important to the town of Seymour and other communities. I would like to start a This Is Me movement where we bring inclusion into the town of Seymour. The reason behind the name of the movement is based off the song from The Greatest Showman. A portion of the lyrics are, "Hide away, they say, because we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are." I can say from experience that individuals with disabilities do not have the same opportunities as typical peers. What I wouldn't give to be included in an outing with other kids on a sports team, in a workplace, and beyond. I'm not saying Seymour doesn't offer these opportunities. I just don't think people realize how many individuals with disabilities live within our community and may feel the same way I do. First Selectwoman Drew Gonis was kind enough to include me in a presentation at the middle school on Kindness Day, to share that inclusion is just as needed as kindness. What I am asking from the council today is to sponsor this initial relay race / walkathon for the first year, with the funds raised at this event. I would like to use it towards sending 2 students to the yearly Best Buddies National Conference in Indiana in July. Start a bank account that will help to continue this movement with activities throughout the year. And then finally, make a donation to Best Buddies of Connecticut on behalf of the town of Seymour to show our support of inclusion. I am looking to have the event on March 22nd, 2025 at the high school track. March is Best Buddies Month. So what better time to have an inclusion event than when it's Best Buddies Month? The preliminary plan for the day is set up, registration check-in, introductions and a few words, walk and relay kickoff, awards and closing remarks, and then cleanup. So the total time frame, is 8 to 3 o'clock. Best Buddies has given me so much confidence and has allowed me to believe in myself. Not only do I believe in myself, but I also believe in this movement. I believe this could become a big opportunity for our town and community. Imagine being able to be a part of a sports team, even if it's just as a helper. Walking down the street and not being judged just because you act differently or speak differently or look different. Getting a job, any job, just so you feel like you belong. I imagine this. I wish and hope for this every day. Look at how our community came together for all those affected by the flood. That showed what we already know, that we are a supportive community. Let's show our intellectually or developmental disabled community that we are here for them as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Wyatt. Very moving. Do any board members have anything? Teresa, we'll start with you since you're on the phone.
Thank you. I didn't hear the date for that.
March 22nd, 2025.
Thank you so much. And Wyatt, thank you so much for your presentation. I commend you for getting up and be able to do that public speaking. I know you talked about yourself, but it takes a lot to be able to get up in front of a board like this and make your presentation and be heard. So I would like to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Fred?
Likewise, thank you, Wyatt. You've done a terrific job, and your movement here is a terrific asset and a tribute to you for the public.
Thank you.
Trish?
We need someone like you in town, and here you are. I think you're a wonderful speaker. You did a terrific job. Not only do I support what you're doing, if you need help on this date, I will be there to support you and to help with whatever you need to be done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to echo that one. Excellent speaking. Very, did a great presentation, and I'm 100% in support of what you're doing. So.
Thank you.
Wyatt? I will stand right next to you, and we will get this done. You tell me what you need for us to do, and we will. I don't want to speak for the board, so I'll ask the board their pleasure on this, but the town looking to sponsor the first ever This Is Me inclusive relay. I will speak to our police chief, I will speak to our custodial staff, and we will see what we can work with and help you with. And the monies that you raise for this one will go into an account to set off the next relay. Right? So the town will look at sponsoring the first one for you.
Thank you.
And I see this going very far. I see the hard work that you've put into this and your determination. If we could be half of the person that you are, then I've accomplished a lot in life. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I will get with your mom. Stop. So can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that to approve the Wyatt Smars Relay Race and Walkathon on March 22nd from 8 to 3 at the high school track.
I'll second that.
And I'll also second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Motion passes unanimously. You're welcome. 5-0.
Thank you.
Wyatt, we'll have Kurt reach out to you. We'll get the date. We'll get the time. We'll work with the chief and everything. So March 22nd, 2025 is going to be the town of Seymour's Wyatt Smars' first ever Best Buddies relay for Life? Is that what we're gonna call it? No, we can't call it Relay for Life. This is
This me
movement.
movement, yeah.
This is, we'll get with Kurt, we'll get with everybody, and we'll get the program, and I'm sure that everybody on this board will be up there with you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Wyatt.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wyatt. I think Wyatt deserves a round of applause. Okay. On to item number 5, approval of the minutes from the November 6, 2024 regular meeting. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Teresa. Second by
I'll second the motion.
Fred. Discussion.
I just like to say Leanna did a great job filling in. Thank you.
Leanna's the new person writing the minutes.
Beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Discussion? Looks like you want to say something?
No, I wasn't here.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain?
Abstain.
Please note Selectman Finley and Trish Danka's abstention. Teresa, Fred, and I in favor. Thank you. Discussion and possible action regarding the charge of the turf committee advisory. The charge is in your packet. Per Selectman Stanek, he had asked that we do a charge for this commission to make sure that they stayed on track, right? The turf advisory committee charge. The charge of the turf advisory committee is to review all possible options for the upgrade of all-purpose turf sports field at the Seymour High School. The committee will also review and consider options for the repair and upgrade of the track surrounding the field. The committee will be required to meet with various vendors to discuss options and pricing, after which it will make a recommendation on how best to move forward to the Board of Select Persons. All in favor of the advisory committee charge?
Do we have to make a motion?
We
or
need to
no?
make a motion.
I'll make a motion for the turf advisory committee charge.
Motion by Trish,
I'll second it.
second by Bob. Discussion?
I just have a question. Do we have a timeline of when we want this to come back to us with the what their recommendations are?
Kurt?
I would expect within a couple months. The committee will meet. We've already met with one vendor so far. We have another vendor scheduled for Friday, and then another for early December. There's kind of 3 main people that do this.
So if we say the first meeting in February,
Probably faster than that, but
your mic?
That's perfect. That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
yeah. So probably right after the first of the year, I think we should be ready to come back with something.
Okay.
On the turf, the track is a new wrinkle that we've added into it, so that may take a little bit longer, but at least we can come back with some ideas on the turf.
Okay, great. Teresa?
Maybe we should amend the motion, then Teresa or somebody, to say that the committee will report to the Board of Select Persons by February 1st.
I don't want to put such a tight timeline on it if they're not ready, though.
Well, this wasn't for them to come back. This
Well,
was
this-
just for
this
the
was the-
advisory committee.
This was just to put
for
the
the
committee
charge.
together, right?
Teresa was just
So-
asking when we would have some information back
Information.
to us. Yeah,
Correct.
not the charge itself, correct, Teresa?
Correct. Yeah. No, I was just looking for the time, somewhat of a timeline, how far out we are looking at.
All right.
Yeah, because all we are doing is discussion and possible action on regarding the charge of the turf advisory committee. If we put a timeline, then that is not what the agenda states.
It would be the responsibility of the committee to put together the timeline of what they're gonna do and
Right.
report back to us.
Right.
Right
So-
now, we're just on the charge.
I think what you could say is once the committee is put together, they have to give us a timeline of response, within the first couple meetings or a meeting or whatever. You could do something like that.
If I could, through you, Madam First Selectwoman, we're going to be able to, once the select persons agree, we'll actually be able to enter into some type of agreement that locks in a price. So it's the committee's desire to get this done sooner rather than later, because these companies fill up very quickly. The target would be to have the work done in the summer of 2026. So that way, as soon as graduation is over, literally the next day, we can have crews up there and have the field ready to go by the opening of the fall sports season. So that would be the goal.
Do we agree on the charge?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries 5-0-0. Thank you. Okay. Item number 7, discussion possible action regarding the potential contract with Axon to provide a new body cameras and fleet cameras for the Seymour Police Department. Chief Bucciarati and Deputy Chief Appiano, along with Inspector Matasovich, are here to talk about such contracts.
Good evening, everybody. So we brought some visual aids for you as well to kind of document what we've been going through with our current company. Just a little background, the Police Accountability Act requires that each police officer, when they're interacting with the public in a law enforcement capacity, wear a body camera and have one and in a uniform. Okay. Also, they require cameras to be in vehicles. All right, what you see there are the body cameras, some of the batteries, and then 2 of the vehicle-mounted cameras. It's largely unfunded. It's a mandate that's unfunded, except for an initial grant that Seymour had applied for and got to buy the original ones. So Seymour chose ProVision cameras. They were initially cheaper than the competitors. They were rolled out shortly after I took over in January of 2022. Soon after, they were going good for about 3 or 4 months. I'd say we didn't have any problems, and then the problem just started happening. We started seeing just camera failures, equipment failures. That vehicle camera just stopped working. We don't know why. They just stopped working. The triggers, the automatic triggers that go on, usually to activate these cameras, you have to double press a thing. So when you activate your lights, or you go near somebody with a body camera on, say if Mike is in a situation with somebody, he activates his body camera, my camera should automatically go on. Okay? Those stopped working. So now I have to make sure that I remember to turn on my camera going, so this poses an officer safety issue for us, especially if we're responding to a call, we have to get out, jump out of the car real fast. These cameras they're not working. It still doesn't work to this day. We've done our due diligence with this company. We have engaged with them over the last year and a half for support. They're basically telling us, say, that you just have to buy new ones. Okay? I don't think this should be failing at this rate. At the rate, look, you see the box there. There's probably 15 or 20 more.
That's heat swelling. I mean, that's.
And the batteries, mine itself is. I'm just not replacing it because the officers on the road need them more. However, I'm required to wear it. Mine's swollen as well. So, obviously, this causes a lot of frustration. It's a lot of frustration with our officers. A lot of frustration on our part. We've had their engineers. We've had the IT director, Inspector Matasovich. Deputy Chief Appiano, Rob Dyer from the town. We have spent countless hours with them trying to resolve this. We've had their engineers come here to try to work with us to try to fix this and make it work.
What was the original warranty on it? Do you know?
A year?
They were a
Cameras
year,
are a year.
and they probably started failing a year and a half.
Yeah, it's almost like planned obsolescence, where when Apple blew up all your phones years ago, so you had to buy new phones. I think this is the same thing. So we started looking at other vendors, and we looked at other vendors. Listen, Axon is top of the line. It is a top tier company. They have mastered the body camera angle. There really is no other competitors. Most of the cities and towns around us, they use Axon, even for larger ones. A larger deployments, they're all on Axon. So, a good thing entering into this contract with Axon is that the cameras automatically refresh every 2 years, which means we don't have to budget anymore to buy new cameras. Part of the contract is every 2 years you get a brand new set of cameras. So no matter what happens, every 2 years, or 2.5 years, right? 2.5 years. So halfway through the contract, it's a 5-year contract that we're looking to enter. Halfway through, we get brand new cameras for everything.
It's almost like hardware as a service then?
Yes.
Is that
Yeah,
how they're doing it?
that's very, yeah.
And then at the end of it, year 5, we get brand new body cams as well then. So.
Right, okay.
So I'm assuming if we do this, we'll renew with them, but, even if we didn't, we'd still have 2 years of body cameras, work after it. So, that helps us budget. We don't have to budget for new cameras, because honestly, this is very difficult to budget for. Especially, we could have cameras that fail, some of them could work. It's been a challenge to try to budget. I know I've paid money over and above what was in my line this year out of other lines to buy cameras for everybody because we have to. This is not something that's optional for us. We have to do this. Another benefit of going with Axon is the redaction software. So more and more we're getting requests for body cameras as we go on more calls. Courts requiring it. We have to redact these videos because some of them contain sensitive information. Some of them contain juvenile victims, sexual assault victims, computer screens that are in cars. Those we can't release to the public because there's criminal justice information on them. So with Axon, the redaction software is all included. We don't have to pay any extra for it. It's part of it. We highlight an area on the video that has to be redacted, and it will follow that person or that face or that computer screen throughout the video, and it will redact it itself. We don't have to do that. With ProVision, we started to look at that, and right now we have to manually go through and do it, which is very time-consuming. With ProVision, to buy that redaction software would be an extra $15,000, I think, an extra $15,000 software license per year. So it really doesn't make any sense to do that. Having a structured contract with finite costs, it helps with our strategic planning and budget planning. And Axon, I could say, from having been to their booth up at the IACP, they are heavily invested in the future. You all know I have a tech background, and I kind of like all that stuff. I mean, some of the things that they're doing now with AI and, for instance, with their car readers, with their car cameras, they're automatically license plate readers. ALPRs are included in that. So with this package, we put those things in. They'll be able to hit on stolen vehicles just by you positioning your vehicle behind it. It will pick up the plate and hit on it for you. Where we've never had this technology before. And also, there's also potential for savings with this. We had to buy taser cartridges, same company, this year for training. Just because they knew we were engaging with a contract and we were coming here and doing that, they already gave us, was it 15% or 20%? 20% off. So we saved probably $5,000 in buying a couple tasers and some cartridges, just, with that company. So we try to do what we can. On offsetting, I understand that, offsetting the cost of the contract, at the police department, we've been consolidating things and automating things. So, we're not replacing a deputy chief that we don't need. That's going to come forth in this budget cycle. And my administrative assistant, because we went to the Jobs for Blue, the outside jobs, the private duty automated system, we really don't need somebody full-time there. So we're going to drop that to a part-time position. And then also saving with manpower for us, that actually freed up a supervisor to go on the road doing that. With Axon here, with manpower, we don't need a detective to do this almost full-time. It'll be automated. And when court requires something, Axon has a program where they work with prosecutors and GAs throughout the state, where if they're a domestic violence prosecutor and they need the video, we can give them a login and they can go look at the video themselves. We don't have to reproduce it. We don't have to redact it. They can do it all there themselves. So it'll save us a bunch of time and money. And with that, I will take any questions on the contract or...
Do you know around so that extra, when you're working with other prosecutors and you have to do all the redacting, do you know what type of labor that you're currently expending on that right now, just by chance?
Jasmine, Joe?
Yeah, like Jasmine, myself, depending on how in-depth the video is, I have to actually use video editing software to redact large portions of it, so it's almost like sitting there watching the entire thing, so you catch what you're.
Right, what you're,
So there's no absolute AI built into that, it's all physical.
in a percent of a year, how much do you think, would you say you're doing that?
I'd say
More.
pretty much any case that goes out before now is included.
Okay. So it's active.
It's getting more and more. It's just, I mean, defense attorneys, I can't even tell you how many times there's record requests for stuff, or, so forth, to revolve around.
Okay.
It's becoming more.
No, it makes sense.
Yep.
Yep.
Trish?
What's Axon's, you might have said this and I glazed over it because I was listening though. And I was just thinking about a couple of things while you were also talking, which doesn't always bide well for hearing. What is their policy, let's say that you get a camera, I know they're going to replace everything in 2.5 years. Camera breaks, isn't working within a year.
From past experience working with them in Fairfield, they've helped us. They've replaced things.
We even went to Ansonia and looked at it, because they have it, and they said if a body camera goes down, they'll send them a new one right away, get it in service, and then ship the other one back, so they could take a look at it, but they said that the customer service and that whole turnaround and response time is like nothing, it's just a new camera and no questions asked, pretty much, so.
They kind of got something, they also, the reason why they also want that camera back is just opposed to setting as replacement. Their engineers like to reverse engineer a lot of things. They're really on top of the troubleshooting aspect of it, so it's just not just, okay, we'll send it back to us and we'll send it another. They're actually going through it and troubleshooting and seeing what the failure was to prevent failure, so.
Okay. I mean, I support what we want to do because your safety is incredibly important in what you do, and you have to be able to, support in court when things are required and what the regulations are requiring you to have. And I love the efficiency from a strategic planning point of view that it's going to provide you, not having to stare at the videos. I'm going to ask just an obvious question. Like when they came out, this isn't just fixable with new batteries, right? Because I mean,
So-
I am looking at the swelling and everything.
That you're looking at is our second batch of batteries.
Okay.
We've already gone through a first batch that have all.
But
slowed
batteries
up again.
die, so
Yeah.
that's why
They shouldn't
that's
be
why I'm
dying.
inquiring.
Problem, and they're having a,
We're less than 3
Oh.
years in. They shouldn't
Yeah,
be.
no, you
This
don't have
shouldn't
to
be
be
happening.
We've installed new batteries in all of these cameras that are broken, and they just do not work.
And when he says install them, they've been installed just 2 months ago.
And this is half of probably what we've gone through since we've.
This
what
is,
was the expected life cycle when you first bought these? I mean, what's the,
was this a grant?
how long do we?
It was. I wasn't here when it was bought, but it was a grant, and I'm assuming that the life cycle was. I would say
Is
2.5 to 3 years at least.
Is it, okay.
You
Is it-
know, you buy, you don't expect them to last forever, right?
Right.
Because they're exposed to weather, they're exposed to,
Yep.
we're cops, we break things. That's what we do. So it's true, but they're some of these have taken some abuse as well, and we understand that there's going to be
Yeah,
failures
to
with it.
back up and be clear, I think that's because you guys take a lot of abuse and
Yeah.
run and
Yeah.
so I don't want people just thinking you guys are clumsy, although
Right.
maybe some of you are, but I think that's to be expected.
Yeah,
Just the nature of your job.
It is. And we're out in the weather, so they take rain, snow, harsh conditions. They're exposed to everything. So we do expect that there's a failure at some point, but the amount of failures that we're seeing and the types of failures that we're seeing, we shouldn't be seeing the failures with the car cameras, and they're just not even connected. Those 2 car cameras just don't work.
That doesn't
And
make any sense.
we've had their engineering team out here, and and listen, we've tried to make this work. We've spent a ridiculous amount of time with this company. I actually found the company at the IACP. I went up to the head of it, and I'm like, hey, you got to do something for us. And they said we'll call, and they never called.
Yeah, I was just
So-
thinking about it from a recourse standpoint.
So
We made an investment in those, and they didn't fulfill.
Recently, they actually sent us a new dash cam to try out, and that new dash cam didn't even work.
Did fail.
So, brand new, right out of the box, latest technology, and it failed.
It's time to move.
The way I feel about it is I'm going to trust you're doing your due diligence because you know much more about this than we do, right? I want to make sure that, we're moving to a product that we're going to be able to rely on, get proper service and support when needed
Yes.
on, and that we don't get this garbage back again of, oh, well, you just have to buy new ones. Because that's not going to
This is the
put a
last
smile
time
on
I
my
plan on
face.
coming before you for new body cameras.
Right.
We get that.
And my last proverbial question, whether it's now or in the future, because I see this contract is only for 5 years if you do pursue, is there any benefit, well, actually I have two questions, any benefit to going out for more than 5 years with them? And also, is there any possibility now or in the future we could supplement the expense with any other grants we can write?
I don't know that there are any other we could always apply for probably the Justice grant, the JAG grant, when I think we get that's a yearly grant, and we got that once before, so we could try to apply for that again.
And I acknowledge
see if
and
we could
respect that you've
put
cut
that-
some positions and time and some
Yeah.
positions to
But
help
we,
pay.
to try to offset it. But
Right.
we could definitely look for grants. We do have some asset forfeiture money hopefully coming to us in the near future. We could always look to supplement the payments on it. And the answer to your question about moving it forward and having a longer contract is yes, you can do that. I mean, it's just going to be more. It's just going to be more money. That's
But it's paid annually, yes, with
well,
due dates.
the overall contract is going to be more. So I don't know. I don't know from a debt service. That's a question for you more than me. I mean, so if you double that, it's going to be $1 million as opposed to a $500,000. Do you follow what I'm saying?
I do, but we're not paying it all at once.
No, we're not.
It's a hardware as a service.
So I don't know if that
Annual
impacts it all.
payments.
I mean, I could always ask them. We could always ask them for a 10-year.
So
deal.
so in 5 years, I don't know what the upcharge is going to be like with inflation. What is I'm hoping, I'm asking, thinking, is it worth it
Listen, I would love to
to
do a
lock
10-year.
in lower prices, or is this something
Well,
that
I'm
you
not-
think, I know you can't say for sure, but is this more of a product that should hold steadier? Because it's something,
I do.
this isn't an if, this is something that you have to have by regulation and for your safety. It's not just, it is a safety issue, but it's a requirement. So we have to think,
I'd give yourself the option in 5 years, though, to relook at it, and because technology might change, who knows?
Right, I
You
wouldn't
maybe
wanna
get
sign
5
it for
years
10 years.
is a good number.
And that's another good point. The way that Axon works is any new technology that comes out body cam wise, they will send us brand new body cams. So they come out
So
the
they'll-
latest and
so
greatest. It could be in a year. They're going to send us brand new cams.
Okay.
well, that negates
That's good.
that
That
thought.
negates that. Yeah.
Kurt,
Good.
Let's say these numbers, and to the point of the strategic planning committee and trying to plan these things out. This had initial arrangement was a larger upfront cost to essentially buy the equipment, and then followed up with annual costs. So what they were able to do, we had conversations with them about smoothing the payment out over the 5 years. So to your point, if it were to go to a 10-year contract, I think what they're doing is they're pricing in the initial equipment plus the refresh. So what you would probably see in a 10-year would be the initial equipment plus 3 refreshes.
Correct.
So I don't know if the savings would be there to derive that. And to Deputy Chief Fabiano's point, the technology is going to change. And sitting in on one of these calls, I mean, I was blown away at some of the stuff.
Right,
They have
said
things
they'll
they
send
can.
you the
The
new
AI stuff.
technology.
They can
But
do it now
understood.
where what it actively translates for you. So if you're dealing with a person that speaks Spanish,
Right.
the body cam will it's absolutely insane. So and having dealt with this company in another capacity, they're excellent. I mean, I know other police officers firsthand that use them,
I'm not
and chief,
questioning that, but
they
we all
rave
know the
about.
big expenses we have coming up. So I want to make
But-
sure that we're doing this in a smart way and also thinking on a longer term to lock in anything that we can keep at a lower price rather than everything.
I think in
5
5
years
years you're
getting
going to
jumped
see.
up.
I don't think it would make that big a difference. And like anything, I think if we put a 3% cost on it per year and just carry that out for 5 years, so 6 years from now we'd know what to expect. The chief can even build that directly into his budget. So instead of the 115 each year, we can actually ramp that up so it's built into the budget in smaller increments.
Yeah.
And that money then can be diverted someplace else within the police department budget simply by the Board of Finance transferring the money. But the money's in that line, that type of
Okay.
thing.
Right.
I
Yeah, we
support
can
that.
do some creative things like that, so it's not a big whack in year 6.
Teresa?
Did Fred go?
Well,
Maybe I missed that.
you're kind of sitting.
Oh, I'm in the next seat now, huh?
Yeah.
Thank you.
problem.
Thank you, Chief. And I do have a few questions. When does this changeover take effect?
So we actually talked with Axon, and obviously the new with fiscal year it would be July 1st. Axon is willing to ship us the equipment so we can get started right away. We've talked to them, so we would hopefully try to roll this out right at the beginning of the new year in January. Hopefully have everybody go live by March. We're going to do the body cameras first because that's where we're experiencing all the failures, and we want everybody to be covered, and then we'll go vehicles after that. It should be all in place by the time first payments due.
Okay. And is there any money in the current budget for this year for body cameras?
So yes, we've already paid our fee for Provision this year. We do have to keep the service alive at least till July 1st, or until we renew. I think we renew in August, and we have to download some of videos off of Provision that we need to preserve. So we've already paid for it for this year.
Okay. And then you were talking about a justice grant. Do you think how often do those come out, and how much could you possibly get for this?
JAG grants are usually about $25,000, so it's definitely something we could look at.
Okay, and then the other part, you were explaining about positions in the police department. Could you just go over that again?
Yeah, so
Where the savings are?
in our old table of organization, we had 2 deputy chiefs. Since Deputy Chief Rinaldi retired in July, we kind of found that we really didn't need 2 deputy chiefs in the department this size. It didn't really make sense to have those 2 positions there. So we opted not to fill one. The salary at the time of his departure was $110,000. And now with going to Jobs for Blue for our private duty, my executive assistant, who just did really private duty payroll, all of that's automated now. So there's really not going to be much for that position to do on a full-time basis. We still have some things to do, on a part-time basis, such as purchase requisitions, supplies, that sort of thing. There's enough work to justify part-time, but I don't see going forward, after Nadia retires, keeping that a full-time job. So we're going to cut that to part-time.
Okay, so what you're saying is you have the money in your budget with these 2 positions to cover this.
No, because
No, okay.
Nadia's working until July. That's
Okay.
so that we have to pay her out for this year, and the money that we had in the deputy chief line we used to buy vehicles.
Okay, so I'm a little confused, to be honest with you. Does this go to the Board of Finance, or how does this? What's this next steps on this?
I think it would just be selectmen approval, correct?
Yeah, this isn't, the only reason why I would go to the Board of Finance, Teresa, is if they were transferring line items. They're transferring money from line items. That's the only reason why I would go to the Board of Finance.
Okay.
Through you, Madam First Selectwoman, if you look at page 2 of the packet that was sent out, you'll see there's a small payment of about $6,700 or $6,700 actually that's due in January,
Yeah.
which could be absorbed within the police department budget. And the first actual real payment does not start until fiscal 26. So we'll be able to budget this, so there'll be no upfront costs per se. They were very good about working with us to get the technology in the hands of the police officers and then hold off on the payment. So the first of the 5 payments will come right after July 1st of 25 in the next fiscal year.
Oh, I see that now. Okay, thank you for that clarification.
You're
So it's really just that $6,700 now that we really have to put out.
Correct.
Immediately.
Yes, and just to clarify one thing, we didn't cut those positions just for this. That
Right.
was just through our normal kind of taking an assessment of what we do business-wise every day, if you follow me.
Okay. Well, I understand the need to have these body cams. You know, my father was a policeman, so I'm always supporting the blue, and I also know that we have a need for our residents to make sure that everything that we're doing is up in front. So I always want to just thank you guys for all the work you're doing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, if I may. Chief, you have on page 1 of the attachment to your letter, your summary, discount summary. What does that mean, discount summary? Are we receiving a discount for going with a 5-year contract?
Yeah, I believe they build in I believe they do build in a discount for us. off the
Yeah, they had a
prices.
quote of an unbundled price, and then they threw a discount up on that, from what I can see on this. I was looking through that before.
Okay.
Okay. Any further questions?
I have no further questions at this time.
With a motion, I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Axon to provide new body cams and fleet cameras for the Seymour Police Department per Chief Buccarati.
Motion.
And
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I'll second it.
Deputy Chief. Recommendation?
Motion by Trish,
Second.
second by Bob Finley.
Do we need to authorize you or the chief to sign the contract?
Authorize me.
I would have you approve a contract between the town of Seymour and Axon regarding new police body cameras and fleet cameras in such form as approved by the town attorney's office, and to authorize the first select woman or her designee to enter into such contracts.
And you couldn't say that before Trish made her motion?
I was going to let you finish speaking first.
So we should withdraw the motion on the
I'll
table.
withdraw my motion.
And substitute it as the motion as I just articulated.
Withdraw
Fred
your
hates
motion?
it when I do that. I did withdraw my motion. Could you please withdraw your second?
Bob Finley.
Withdraw my second, sorry.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve Axon, you really messed me up over here.
Motion, make a motion authorizing the
to
town of
enter
Seymour
into
to enter into a contract with Axon to provide body cameras and fleet cameras for the Seymour Police Department in such form as approved by the town attorney, and to further authorize the first select woman or her designee to enter into such contract on behalf of the town of Seymour.
So moved.
Motion by Trish,
Second.
second by Bob. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Okay, item number, where'd my little thing go? Item number 8, discussion and possible action regarding the renaming of the Broad Street Park. I will push this over to Selectman Stanek.
Thank you, Madam First Selectwoman.
You're welcome.
As we all know, I propose that the park at the corner of Broad Street and River Road be renamed. And part of that involves a contest that was enacted in the school district for grades, children in grades 4 through 12. Stephanie Chacon, the assistant principal at Sheffield School, took charge. 18 entrants have submitted essays. I made it clear that the winner of the contest would not necessarily name the park. It's still up to the Board of Select Persons to name the park. The winner will receive a $100 gift certificate and the runner up a $50 gift certificate. So at this point, I think we need to consider the entries and how are we going to do that. I would propose that the awards committee review the entrants and come back to the board with a recommendation for the winner of the contest. And then after that, we schedule a public hearing about naming the park. We may choose the name that the entrant, the winner of the contest submitted. We may not.
We have the committee in place, so I would support that recommendation.
So is that your motion?
I will make a motion to support the awards committee taking a look at the entrants and coming back to the Board of Selectmen with their recommendations, and then sending it for the hearing.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Trish, second by Fred. Discussion?
I would just ask maybe the awards committee can meet before the next meeting, regular meeting of this board. And put this on the agenda and then maybe schedule a public hearing for sometime in January.
That's fine.
All in favor?
Okay.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Item number 9, discussion and possible action regarding the potential timelines and next step of the Bungay School Facility Needs Study Committee. I again will turn this over to Selectman Stanek.
I would like to state that the name of the committee is the Bungay Elementary School Building Committee at this point. We did the facility needs previously, but we are undertaking a facility needs and assessment through the Antonazzi Associates architecture firm.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay. So right now, we are coming up with a plan or plans that the board or the committee will consider soon and finalize to submit to the public, or to the board here, and then hopefully to the public. The question then becomes, when are we going to conduct a referendum? And you'll see a timeline that was prepared by Antonazzi Associates, which we have been following. We have pushed it up. Antonazzi Associates will be present at our next meeting on December 2nd, is it, or 3rd? With the next meeting, the first meeting in December, to present to us,
Present to the Board of Selectmen, Select Persons, sorry.
select persons, estimates for the project.
I know, I messed that up and you yelled at me. It is December 3rd.
Just through you, Madam Chairman, Selectman Stanek, I didn't include that email in the packet. So I don't think all the board has the specific dates that you may have referenced. So if you want to go over just dates, I apologize. I didn't think you wanted me to include that, so.
I did pass out a copy.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Oh, perfect. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You'll see an email that
Yep.
came from Antonazzi Associates directed to me as to their time schedule over the next 2 weeks. The committee will be meeting Thursday evening. We will have estimates for the December 3rd meeting, and we can proceed from there. So we're going to have a good idea as to what this project may cost.
Okay. Just in time for budget season.
And tomorrow, there's a telephone call meeting, including Rob Dyer and Director of Security of the school district at their input at this point. I do have the updated specs which were presented to the Board of Education recently, if anybody is interested in the ed specs. And again, this is a feasibility study by Antonazzi Associates. Assuming the referendum, or what's really called the adjourned town meeting, passes and approves this project, then at that point we will hire an architecture firm. It could be Antonazzi, it could be someone else, to develop the actual plans for the new school. So right now, we're talking about a footprint of what we're going to do. So everything presented now is not the final plan, but pretty much what we want to do.
If I may, Madam First Selectwoman, when you have a moment, just comment on the schedule so everyone is clear on that.
Yes, go ahead.
As you may probably know, you have to look at the town charter, several parts regarding this. If there's a request for this appropriation, it's going to be made to the Board of Select Persons. You then have to refer this, you as a board, refer it to the Board of Finance for action that they have to take within 30 days of your referral. If this is an appropriation in excess of $100,000, which I assume it will be, which is not in the annual budget, which we know it is, you need to have a special town meeting for that purpose. Also, your charter requires, if you're going to have bonds or borrowing of more than $500,000, you need to go to referendum on that under your charter. And again, you can have your adjourned annual special meeting just like you do with the budget right now. But I have to caution you, I was told that perhaps the date for the referendum was in March of this year. Early March of this year is one of the proposed dates. That means that you as a board have to authorize that going to referendum no later than February 9th of 2025. So just keep your eye on the calendar. This has to move quickly if you want to get a spring referendum on it this year. So everyone has to move pretty quickly here at this point, or you're going to have it later in the year, which may affect when you do the
The
project.
referendum, I'm assuming, will be an issue to debate. Discuss.
It's an issue to debate with me, just looking at other
I
paperwork, but I've shared with you, I would prefer this to be later in the year.
The issue is timing and when the project would commence. If we stay on this schedule, we would submit our application to the Connecticut Department of Administrative Services for reimbursement by June 30th of this year. Then we go to the legislature, which will not approve the project, the reimbursement grant, until early 2026. By the time we start construction, it would not be until late '26, early '27. If we go to referendum in the fall, we cannot apply for the reimbursement grant from the Department of Administrative Services until June 30, 2026. Delays us a whole 2 years, actually.
For me, and I've shared this with you, there's benefits to that financially.
Financially, yes.
Yes.
Educationally, no.
No, but it doesn't matter if we can't get it to pass.
I understand.
So that's my stance.
I understand. I'm confident that the people of Seymour will approve this. I'm confident, but I may be wrong. I've been wrong before. But thank you for your advice in terms of the time frame. We do have to have a referendum or adjourn town meeting.
Okay.
So if this could be placed on the agenda of the next meeting of this board, we will have Antonazi Associates present
Okay.
the financial aspects of the project.
We will put this on for the December 3rd meeting.
And we've expedited this because we weren't going to get the estimates probably until early January. We pushed them to get that number for us in December.
Anybody else? Discussion? Bob? Teresa?
I'm good. I'm in agreement with Fred. I think we can't wait any longer to push this off. We're just going to have to go out there and make sure that townspeople know that the need is there for our students and our kids and going forward. But I don't want to delay this either.
So let's have it on the agenda for December 3rd then. Okay?
And we do have a meeting of the committee Thursday evening if anyone's interested in attending at the Board of Education Central Office.
Great.
Everyone's welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, number 10, discussion and possible action regarding ordinance committee authorizing the use of the automatic traffic enforcement safety devices. The board, the
ordinance committee.
Thank you. The ordinance committee has met, and we are going to push this back to the Board of Selectmen now to vote to put it to a 30 for public meeting. Basically, as Chief Buccarati is here, that is a ordinance already. It's a state regulation.
It models the state, what's required for automated traffic enforcement. So any requirements that are given by the state is included in that ordinance.
So the Board of, the ordinance committee, not a board, we looked at it, we didn't make any changes, so we're gonna push it forward.
It's just back before you, so you're going to move it to public hearing.
Yep,
To a public hearing.
so we need a date for a public hearing for that one.
Would you like the public hearing at the next meeting, the 12th, or the 12/3, excuse me?
December 3rd.
December 3rd, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. This way it'll be all set for 2025. Okay. In regards to blight, we are pushing this back to,
You're going to do a motion on that?
oh yeah, huh.
Make a motion to set the public hearing for the ordinance on the traffic enforcement, automated traffic enforcement safety devices to December 3rd at 6:30.
How about
45.
6:45?
Do 6:45 just because you have ordinance
We're going
and
to have a second one.
awards committee.
Right. So for 6:30.
So for, because we're gonna do the open burn at 6:45.
You have multiple.
So if I can get a second on that, I'll make a motion on the open burn.
Well, the open burn has to actually be accepted by the board, then sent back to the ordinance committee,
That's true.
and then come back to the Board of
Why
Selectmen.
is this one
Correct.
different?
We just wanted to give you a head start.
Why is the
Because
police
we
one
didn't
different?
we didn't, because the board of,
Oh, 'cause it's not
Yeah,
official.
board hasn't
board of
taken any
select
action.
persons didn't see the open burn.
Correct.
Oh,
And there's
okay.
no change.
We're just trying to save some time to
Okay,
at least you folks get started.
I'll amend my motion to say December 3rd at 6:45.
Motion by Trish,
Second.
second by Bob. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Chair votes aye, motion carries 5-0. Great. We're gonna move the open burn Oh, no, we're on blight, sorry. Item number C, blight. The ordinance committee wants to push this back to the blight enforcement and land use. So to tighten up, we have some recommendations for them, and we want to see a tier 1 and a tier 2 enforcement, as well as a little wording on aesthetics, looks, paints, stuff like that. We have some wording for them that we'd like them to look into, and have it go back in front of the committee in January.
Okay. So I'll set up a time to have them come up and speak to you, go through that specifically and get that updated and back to the
Correct.
ordinance committee for a meeting in January.
Correct. The open burn, we gave it to the Board of Selectmen. Now the Board of Selectmen are going to push it back down to the ordinance committee to review, just to push it back forward to the Board of Select Persons.
Such a silly process.
It is.
We'll just have a motion to refer the open burn.
I'll make a motion to refer the open burn ordinance back to the ordinance committee.
I'll
Thank-
second the motion.
Motion by Trish, second by Fred. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. On to appointments. As you know, we are going to appoint our charter commission revision. So do we want to do them individually? Do we want to do them all at once?
This is all one charter revision. Unless someone is opposed, I would support for this. We can do it all at once. Would anybody oppose?
Madam Chair, I just do have a question on the party affiliations. If you can just go through them again?
Sure, absolutely. Do you want me to do them as we do them, or you want me to go through them now?
If you want to just go through them now, then we could just maybe just vote on it.
Sure, okay, hold on. Get my notes, Teresa. Okay, Kevin Attleberry is a Democrat.
Mhm.
Tom Gardella is Republican. Tara Miller is Republican. John Stelma is Democrat. Richard Peck is Republican. Naveen Madhavala is an independent, and John Lombardo is Republican.
So I'm not quite sure on this. I thought the understanding was it was supposed to be equal amounts of the major parties. Because we have 4 R's, 2 D's, and 1 U.
I'm looking at Counselor.
Yeah, it has to be no more than a bare majority who shall be members of one political party under the statute. You have more than a bare majority of one party right now.
Do you want me to take one off?
If you took an R off,
Or you have to
would-
turn the U into a
or
D.
turn the U into a D, one of the two.
We'll take an R off.
Yeah, but, wait a minute, a bare majority is 4.
Say the bare majority. Hold on, how many we
There's
have?
7.
1, 2, 4, 5, 6,
That's a bare majority,
Oh,
that's
the bare
4.
majority would be- Oh, yeah, you have the whole group.
Yeah, you're
Four.
fine.
Okay,
So it's a
right.
bare majority of the
It's
whole
right.
group.
Right.
So it's
That's why I remember when we did ours. it was-
Correct.
right.
Yeah, there's
Yes, you're
7
okay.
on
You're
the
okay.
board.
That's correct.
You have enough, 7 is enough between 5 and 15, and you have no more than 1/3 with holding any other public office, correct?
Correct.
Just 2. 1 Democrat and 1 Republican that hold public office.
Yeah.
That works.
Okay. Teresa?
If that's what the town attorney is saying, it's fine. It's fine with me.
You're okay with that?
Oh, there's 7 people. Okay. All right, you ready?
Any recommendations suggested?
Is anyone opposed to doing it collectively, or do you want us to do it one at a time?
I'm not opposed to the motion, but proposing a collective appointment.
I will make a motion to appoint to the Charter Revision Commission until it is completed Kevin Atterbury, Tom Gardella, Tara Miller, John Stelma, Richard Peck, Naveen Madhavala, and John Lombardo.
Motion by Trish.
Second.
Uh-huh. Oh, yes, that's right. We also are going to have,
Well, if you want to vote on this first. then-
let's vote on this first, okay. Go ahead.
I second it.
Second by Bob, discussion?
If I may, I just want to thank the people who are volunteering to be members of this committee, because this committee is a very time-intensive, difficult committee to be a member of. So I thank the individuals ahead of time.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yes, I've been on it before, and it's,
And I also think, I just want to ask, are any of the members,
you're gonna
by
love
any
it.
chance an attorney?
Are any of the members an attorney? I do not think so.
Okay, all right, thank you.
But
You're
I'm
welcome.
assuming town council will be very actively involved with this.
Town council will be at the meeting, Jeff.
We will. Town council and we being the we. Town council enjoys charter revision, as strange as that seems. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Explains a lot. It
Believe it or not.
explains a lot.
It does, it does. And I make, did you vote? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No,
We're
we're still
waiting
in
to say
discussion.
aye.
When you're
but
done with the discussion, I have a
we
comment, but I'll
motion
let
and
you
a
vote
second.
first. I want to say
All
something.
in favor?
Aye.
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 Chair votes aye, motion carries 5-0. But we're also going to have student high school from the National Honor Society or history class. They're going to sit in on the charter revision to understand how town charters and town laws are done. They will have no voting capabilities, but they are there to listen to and to watch and to learn.
After 2 meetings, they'll decide they don't want that.
Yeah, they won't be going to any of
Bad.
They'll say, let's go sit in school suspension. It'll be much more fun for Stefan Bahunian.
That's how most of us have felt. Yeah.
Absolutely.
If I may, Madam First Selectwoman, one thing just to remind you, under the charter revision process, under the statute, the Charter Revision Commission can consider anything, any parts of the charter that it wishes to. However, you as the Board of Select Persons who are forming this may make recommendation of items that they should consider. Not necessarily how they should conclude those items, but perhaps if you wanted them to consider the referendum process, just to pick something that we talk about, you could vote as a body at your next meeting that they should consider that, and that would require them to comment on your recommendations. Otherwise, you don't have any control over what they're specifically looking at. So if there is anything that you, as a body, would like them to look at and consider one way or the other, changing or leaving the same, now's your time to do that.
I think that's a good idea. Maybe we have them come to the first meeting in December. We all look at the charter, give them our suggestions in December. Thoughts?
Didn't we, when I did ours, the board wrote something to
But
us. I remember.
Those were
when we
what you
ours.
did at the end. You came up with the questions. That's your decision. But at the beginning, I think there were certain things you were asked to look at.
Well, that's right, no, the board.
This board gave you
just
certain
gave
items
us
they wanted you to
items,
look
I
at,
remember.
which you
So
did.
it wasn't like, they came to the meeting, we just had a list of items.
Correct.
if I
You're just going to
remember.
make a motion to
Yeah, we'll produce a memo.
amend.
Right,
of what-
that's
Yep.
what
Correct.
it was, yeah.
The Board of Select Persons request that the Charter Revision Commission consider and/or revise the following. You can just number them or list them or whatever, and that forces them to comment back directly on those.
If I may, do we have a specific time frame that we have to present our proposals? I believe there is.
Yeah, not that. It just talks about when you some things when you're appointing them to consider. So I think you can do at your next meeting. You could, if you've already appointed them, you can throw that back to them. They should consider that. You'll be okay. And you should also, you're also going to need you're going to have to tell them when you want your draft report from them. It can be no later than 16 months from today. So you should give them a date when you want
Can we
this.
come up with that at the next meeting?
You can do that at your next meeting as well. So you leave that open right now, but you should at your next meeting give them that date. So you
And
have
I
to
would
think about
recommend-
what election you want this to be, a special election or the general election.
Because if you want them to really look at it,
You don't want to limit their time, but at the same time, you've got to decide whether you're going to be calling you had this in this town, it was at this town. You did the summer election, or was that another town? I'm trying to remember. No, we had another town. They decided to do it by special election in the summer, and they couldn't even get the minimum required people out, yet alone pass the charter revisions. That's something you have to consider. You need to get voters out to vote on this. So, and if you're going to be in a general election, what general election do you want to go for?
Bob, you're going to say something?
Yeah, I would recommend that we do have our memo to them for their least initial meeting or one of the beginning meetings so they can get some kick-started. So,
So we'll come together, and then in the second meeting in December, we'll pass it off to them. They can meet in January.
Yeah, and then you give them a time period no later than 16 months. When you finally get the report from them, you have up to another 15 months to schedule when you want to do the election. And what you really have to watch is if it's a special election, you need to have your 15% vote.
I think we'll try and do it during.
We're going to try to do it during a regular election.
That's usually a better chance of being
Referendum,
successful.
election. Right. Any other questions? Discussion? Did we vote?
Yes.
All right, great. All right, appointments, we did that. Transfers, in front of you is a packet from the tax collector, Dana Flack.
Nope, that's tax refunds. and
Tax
abatements.
refund and abatements.
So we have no transfers.
So we have no transfers, that's right. Thank goodness. Sorry.
It's okay, it's after 9.
no,
Oh,
that's,
no.
that's an hour
I
late.
thought, I was like,
That's an
wow,
hour
we've been
late.
here a long time.
It's after
Need to
so
fix
we're
that
gonna need
clock. Okay, it's still, we've been here more than an hour.
Tax collectors, please look to see if you have any issues. No issues, then I need a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Motion by Trish,
Second.
second by Bob, all in favor?
Aye.
Discussion? No? Oh, I should have done discussion afterwards, sorry. Okay, correspondences, in your packet, you'll see that the Richard R. Pearson Memorial Fund, we raise money for our Seymour servicemen and women who are currently serving in active duty to make donations. Donations can be made now until December 10th. Checks need to be made out to Richard Pearson Memorial Fund. To participate in the fund, you need to give the information about the service member's name, their military branch, their Seymour address. They must live in Seymour. Their complete service address, and you must include your name and the person making the referral. Requests and donations are to be sent to the Seymour Town Clerk's office. All right. That's that. Also in your packet, Teresa, I guess we'll have to email it over to you, Teresa, is the annual debt service payments and our projected debt services. Look at that. Kurt, please make sure you send this over to Teresa tomorrow. Thank you. Public comment. Is there any public comment? Public comment going twice. Public comment going 3 times. No public comment. We'll go on to select persons' public comment. Teresa, since you're on the phone, we'll take you first.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I had a question, maybe you can answer for me. Back on November 14th, the Planning and Zoning Commission canceled their regular meeting and also their public hearings, and they listed as a reason that it was due to the state of the town address. I've never heard of that, and I don't know if we had a state of the town address. I was hoping maybe you could clarify that.
We didn't have a state of the town address.
So maybe you can reach out to the Planning and Zoning Commission and see what happened there, because it's in both of their agendas.
Go ahead, Kurt. I thought it was because they had nothing on their agenda.
Yeah, we had talked about having the state of the town address on that date. So we had conversations with the planning zoning folks. They said they really didn't have anything pressing initially on their agenda. So that's why that was. We ended up not having the state of the town address on the 14th because of some scheduling issues, particularly with the superintendent. So we're going to do the state of the town address a little bit differently. And the Board of Planning and Zoning has convened their December meeting already for, but I believe it's December 12th.
Yeah.
So.
But we'll
Okay,
talk to them
and-
about them canceling for that. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. So maybe they can just clarify that at their next meeting to make sure the record reflects that correctly. Let's see. I did want to ask about the tax assessor position, if we've been having any applications coming in.
Kurt?
Through Mount First Selectwoman, I believe we have had 2 applicants so far. I believe it closes in 2 more weeks. I believe it's open till the end of November, if I'm not mistaken.
And I believe one of the applications are actually one certified tax assessor, and the other one is just somebody that works at a store that has no certification.
That is correct. One of the applicants has both level 1 and 2 certification.
Okay, and then I know that the revaluation letters went out, and I saw pretty much the uproar with everyone in town going on. I know you did clarify at one point how reevaluation works out. If maybe you can get that out maybe on your town website. People just don't seem to understand how we go through that process and what it means. You know, everybody's thinking that they're going to be paying thousands of dollars more for their property taxes when, in fact, that's not the truth. And it just seems like it causes an awful lot of consternation with our townspeople. So I would just request if you could do something more about that. I don't know how. I don't know if the assessor, you know, when they send out these things, if they could have more information in there than just saying, you know, contact the assessment appeals, because I feel bad for that small board, what they must be going to be hit with.
Yeah, I feel bad for them as well, but and we do have stuff on our town webpage, and I will be speaking about it in my selectwoman notes, and I will be addressing it. But I didn't want to really say much until I talked to this board about it in my selectwoman notes as
Okay.
well. But on our piece of paper that we got for the assessment, because I know I had a little skipped heartbeat when I got my assessment as well. It says in there clearly, do not use the current mill rate to assess your taxes, as you will get an incorrect tax assessment. And people must have looked over that big bolded typed letter.
They just saw numbers. They didn't read.
They just saw numbers is what they saw. And I'll talk about that in my segment, but yes, Teresa, I agree with you on that one. And if
Thank
we
you.
had known the assessor, if those were going out by the third party, then we could have put something out saying that, but they sent them out without
All right.
us knowing about it.
Okay, thank you. And then just, next week's Thanksgiving, I can't believe it, so I just want to wish everybody a happy and safe Thanksgiving, and hope to see lots of people out there for our Christmas parade.
Yes. Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving. Yep. Fred?
With regard to the revaluation of the assessments, I think what normally happens also before applying to filing a petition with the Board of Assessment Appeals, there's usually a session or sessions by the revaluation firm where people can informally go in and discuss the assessments with the revaluation firm. And then if the person is not happy, could file a Board of Assessment Appeals appeal by February 20th or a later date if so moved by this board. So there are avenues to try to reevaluate what's going on. And I'll reserve my comments until you state your comments with regard to that.
Once I say my comments, I adjourn the meeting, Fred.
I do want to say, I've seen several of the reassessment notices, and I have to say, I think the firm is conservative in the numbers that they're coming up with. Given the fact that I see, and what I do for a living, part of what I do for a living is real estate sales and transactions and closings. I think the numbers are rather conservative. I've had several clients, contact me about their numbers, and I don't think the revaluation firm did a bad job. Every now and then they'll get it wrong, but as you explained, Madam First Selectwoman, the mill rate is going to be reduced. So I think people are panicking with no reason at this point.
Right.
Once we know the new mill rate, then we'll know the new tax rate.
Exactly. Thank you. Trish?
So that was on my list to talk about as well, because when I came back from vacation, that was waiting for me. And when I first looked at it, I also had a mini heart attack. So a couple things that I wanted to mention for anyone who does listen to these meetings. Everyone on these boards, even any board, Board of Finance included, members are also affected by revaluation. A lot of, look, I have introduction music. I love it. It causes for much more dramatic speaking, though, but thank you.
Right.
It's fine. So one of the things people I want people to understand is I think everyone wants to live in a home where the value is so high until they realize what that means when they're revaluated and how that immediately starts getting people to realize that means I'm going to pay more in taxes. As already has been discussed, we don't know what the new mill rate is going to be, but that will have an effect, so I wouldn't panic just yet. And so people understand what is happening. During the pandemic, in an effort to make sure the economy was in some semi-stable state, interest rates were lowered to an incredible state, and a lot of people took advantage to that. So we have a lot of people who may be able to move, not going to budge because they're paying 2.5%, 3% interest. So you have a lot of people stuck there, which keeps inventory low. And with inflation, we have much less building going on. Again, contributes to low inventory, which, what does that do? Increases the values of our homes. So that is what's happening. Everybody is affected. Please wait for the mill rate to be adjusted and then take a look at what that's going to be. I agree with Mr. Stanek. I've been in the real estate industry for a long time, and this company, as far as what I've seen from the few people that have shared their revaluation with me, it has been conservative and I think very fair. And as Select Person Stanek stated, that doesn't mean everybody's is correct. Once in a while, for whatever reason, they do not hit the right mark, but let's not inundate our appeals folks just yet, because you really need to take a look at what those values are, and that's all I will say about that. Christmas holiday parade will be coming up, and just want to let you know that the events committee is really looking at and asking everyone to wear an ugly sweater. That hasn't really been too communicated yet. I'm not on the events committee. I just want to be clear as I get some looks. I heard of it today, but it should be a fun time. Some people that are in this room might wear ugly sweaters often. I'm just kidding, Kurt. But yes, it'll be ugly sweaters, and we invite the public to participate as well. It should be a good time as always, and also want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, with respect to the reevaluation, I just want to make one comment. Instead of the townspeople, there was a lot of posts on Facebook and a lot of negativity. Instead of all that negativity, I'd encourage them to get the facts, to come to meetings, to understand what the reevaluation means versus jumping all over Facebook and sending negative comments. That bothered me, all the comments that were up there.
Bob, while you're on that topic, if I can just add, please, and I'm sorry. Everyone needs to understand this isn't a political move. This is required to be done every 5 years. Everyone who's paying attention knows it's only been 4 years. Mm-hmm. That is not our fault, and all of us sitting here are not pleased with that. We should not have been reevaluated till next year. We fought that as a town, and we lost that battle with the state. So thank you to the state of Connecticut for forcing that revaluation on us a year earlier, and that revaluation would have taken place next year anyhow, if not done this year. That is the process. That is the requirement. We do not have a say.
But that is just the facts. You move on. That's what happened.
Yes.
And we move forward. So,
Right.
And anyways, I also wanted to say that Wyatt Smart's presentation moved me. I thought he did a great job. I just want to reemphasize that with the team and make sure that the board in this town make sure we do that. This is me run for him and support him. So
we're doing
1,000% on
We're
that.
doing it. March 25th. So proud of him. So he had a wonderful presentation on Kindness Day at the middle school as well. He spoke to the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. So I posted up on the Facebook page as well for people to watch.
Admirable.
Yeah, I did forget to say, and I saw your comments, Teresa's comments on the reevaluation component and how you got factual and very professionally written. So I do appreciate the factual responses and not getting emotional about it. So.
You can't. Deal with facts, right?
Yep.
As engineers, right? Okay. Selectwoman's report. I just want to remind the residents, businesses, and visitors to Seymour that there is an outside burn ban in place due to the dry conditions. Even though we are getting rain this weekend, that is still not enough to remove the extreme danger. The danger, once it's taken out of high, is when it's safe to have the burn, and we don't see that coming. So we will not be having our pep rally, bonfire, war in the woods game. That was something that we had planned on doing, trying to bring back the old time feel, but we're not going to be able to have that. So there is no bonfire still being allowed outside. An update on the Bungay Botsford West Church Street. Aquarium still not done with the water lines. The bids for the road work are due back the 21st. That's this week. So we're hoping to have those back, and then the engineers will be announcing. Maybe we'll start December, but most likely it'll be January before the road work, providing there's no snow, even though I do see snow in the forecast this weekend. Public Works has and will be working on Tibbetts Road and Clinton Road. We received some low SIP money for the road work. Approximately spent about $49,000 on each road. Not a lot of money, but it's some road, and those are Clinton Road is a big wide road. The crosswalk at Pearl and Maple has been replaced. We are still waiting for the DOT's response regarding the crosswalk over by Broad and River Street in front of the Congregational Church. We're hoping to get a crosswalk in that area. Route 67 spot improvements are moving along. We spoke about the Kindness Day. Very proud of the students that took part, especially the high school, Hope Club, the National Honor Society, the sports team, and of course Wyatt for their presentation. Thank you to all the students from high school to elementary and the fantastic Veteran Day services, as well as to Mr. Stanek for the VFW one that we did, as well as the American Legion at French Park. Very well attended by the 4th grade Bungay School. It was a great day, and also thank you to the veterans, for without you, we would not be enjoying the freedoms that we have today. I had the honor of attending the Valley Leadership Awards Gala, which was held by the Boy Scouts of America, who's a town council, which was honoring the outstanding community champions, Anthony Delalouche from Ansonia, Eugene Skoronsky from Derby, Jeffrey Luff was of Oxford, and Carl J. Miller III of Seymour. Not Kurt, but his dad was honored. Reminding them of the power of the dedicated leadership and their lasting impact that they have left on the Valley. Congratulations to the Seymour Girls Swim Team. They won 5 gold medals, the Class S Championship last week. The 200 medley relay was Kylie, Alyssa Toman, Anna David, and Natasha Ritwanger. They finished first with times of 1 minute 54 seconds, which is that's fast. And then Kylie McCura finished her first in the 100 butterfly at 56 seconds, and at the 100 backstroke, 57. Anna David finished the first in the 200 IM at 2 minutes and 6 seconds, and the 100 breaststroke at 1 minute. The 400 freestyle relay, Samantha Pastic, Kylie, and Natasha and Anna David finished 4th at 3 minutes and 45 seconds, which is not a bad time at all. And Alyssa Tomaine finished 5th in the 100 breaststroke. Those are great times, and those girls should be awfully proud of them. And I know they swam on Sunday at Yale, but I was not quite sure what their times are. I haven't heard anything. Thank you. Congratulations to the @9U Seymour Pop Warner Tigers. They are the 2024 Northern Connecticut Pop Warner champions. Very proud of them. The under 6 Tigers also had an unstoppable season. They did not move on. And the Seymour Pop Warner cheerleaders are off to national. They are raising money on their way. Good luck to the Seymour Wildcat football team next week at War in the Woods as they take on Woodland at home. We hope to see you there. On to the assessments. It was some sticker shock, as that was the same day that my daughter told me her college tuition bill was due. So it was a double heart attack for me. The mill rate will be adjusted based on the new reevaluations. And based on the initial calculations, the mill rate should drop to the mid-20s. The state changed the legislations, as you remember. They changed the timeline. So unfortunately, Seymour is stuck at 4, while everybody else got to 5 years. So as we start doing the budget, and the cars will be on there, but so far for the homes, it should be in the mid-20s. You know, there was a lot of going back and forth on Facebook about it, and it wasn't the time to put in there because we needed to look at the numbers. And we answer our residents back and forth on Facebook, but this board needs to hear first what the mill rate would be before we go and we put it on Facebook. And everybody was coming around, oh, it should be in the mid-20s. Some houses went up in value, some houses went down in value, believe it or not. Some stayed the same. And what we have to remember is when we drop the mill rate down, some taxes will stay the same, some taxes may go up, some taxes may go down. It all depends on how the reval filled out. But what we have to remember is, as Selectwoman Stanko was saying, was that we haven't had a reval since pre-COVID. And we had it, I think it was in 2020 is when we had it, really before the housing market went up and before COVID really set in. And that, as she said, just drove the housing market up. And if you look at the housing market in Seymour, there's hardly any houses on the market, maybe 50 houses on the market, whereas the surrounding towns are still there. It'd be interesting to see where Ansonia, where Shelton, as theirs are going to be done next year, are going to come in, as Derby is going to be done next year. So it'd be interesting to see where they're going to come in as well. But I kind of like the fact that my house is worth more than what I bought it for. But again, the sticker shock was there. But it should even itself out. Claridis Plaza, I'm happy to report some businesses are reopening. Woodland Package Store is having a soft opening on Saturday. Bushy Bond's grand opening is December 2nd. We're waiting to hear about Cast Iron Pizza. I know they're going to be opening up around either before Thanksgiving or right after Thanksgiving. We were also told that 2 owners sold, but those businesses are coming back. That was a dry cleaner and the Hallmark store. They sold, but those businesses are coming back. The Seymour Middle School is having their turkey and food drive this Saturday from 9 to 3. You can drop off the food either at the middle school or Chatfield or Presti. Pastor Tammy, Pastor Patricia Paisley, and Christine from the Seymour Oxford Food Bank and I will be cooking this Saturday and serving alongside of our emergency service personnel for the first Town of Seymour's first Friendsgiving. Christine's here. We're looking at serving almost 100 people. I'm making mashed potatoes. So that's this Saturday from 1 o'clock at 1 o'clock p.m. Right? That's what time we're serving dinner. Doors open at 12:30. We're serving at 1. Right. Anybody want to come help serve? Help cook? Come on down. This Sunday is also Tom Backlex from the Yankee Clipper is hosting his annual Toys for Team Drive at his house on Schuchter Drive from 9 to 12. Fred and I are normally there. Trish, you normally come. Bob, we see you there sometimes. Yeah. And next week, Thanksgiving Town Hall closes at noontime on Wednesday. We are closed Thursday and Friday. Trash and recycling are delayed on Thursday and Friday. It will be Friday and Saturday, but don't worry, we'll put it up on our town website. Our Christmas parade is Sunday, December 1st. We hope to see everybody there. Next week, we'll be putting out all the activities happening in December. There's just so many activities going on. We'll be listing them at our December 3rd meeting, as well as posting them on our town website, as well as our Facebook page as to First Saturday event, the Historical Society, Santa coming off the train, It's a Wonderful Life showing at the Strand, pictures at the Historical Society. I think pictures are being done at the Seymour Ambulance. I mean, that's what this community is about, is just doing all these cute little things. And with that, the Christmas parade starts at the community center and it ends at French Park. Right? Yeah. So with that, I wish everybody a very happy and stuffing Thanksgiving. Meeting adjourned. Thanks, Teresa.
Thank you.
Thank you.